Welcome to this episode of the Gunman. This video I'll be taking you through the prep work on this B200 Mercedes Benz. I'll also be taking you through a quick look at the colour and the masking up as well. So we'll start off here. You've seen I've put that bit of tape across the edge, so I'm not going to hit it when I'm sanding. And what I'm using there is just a rag wet with water, just a damp rag. You then squeeze most of the water out of it, and that just the water takes off any water-based contaminants, obviously, so dirt and mud and stuff like that. Then I've just got a dry rag here, and then I'm drying it off. If you had any bits of road grime or tar or something like that, you could then use like a solvent of some sort, thinners or wax and grease remover or something like that. So I've then put that guide coat on. I'm now blocking this. There was a scratch under here. I actually have a separate video I put up a week or so ago of how to prime up. It was this job, so there was some pretty deep scratches, so I took you through that part of the job as well. So I've just decided to use 240 on this because it wasn't a big bog repair, it was just a scratch. So truth be told, I probably don't even really need to block it because it feathered out quite nicely, but I just decided to run the block over it anyway, just to make sure it's nice and straight. So 240 the whole thing, then re-guide coat it, and then we'll start having a quick look at this colour next up. So I use a Standox spectrophotometer on this. I'm using clear over base. I'll just give you a quick look at it, so I won't go too much in depth on the colour. It ends up that I didn't even have to match the colour. It was just mix it up, check it, and paint it. So I didn't even have to make any adjustment, which was quite good. So I've then re-guide coated it, as you can see here, and I'm using 400 grit on the orbital sander. You can see I've got my vacuum plugged up, and now I'm doing the edges. You sand around with a 500 grit soft pad, going around all the edges. Once you've done that, you just run your fingers over the edge, make sure you can't feel any rough spots, just double checking. So you can see on that quarter panel there's a couple of little bits where I've peeked through the primer. Turns out the not quite enough primer on there, and what I'm going to do is just put a bit of acrylic or a bit of 1K primer over that. It's not a big enough rub through to be worth putting 2-pack primer on. 1K dries a lot quicker, and the stuff we use is still quite a good quality 1K primer. We use the proper Standox stuff, so it's still going to stick and it shouldn't shrink back. So I've got this in a separate gun ready to go. Give it a quick blow off, just using very low pressure. As you see, I haven't got too involved with the masking, just a couple of bits, just testing it down there, making sure it's coming out nice. Just one coat over these will be fine. Then give it a quick heat gun. Heat gun that for a minute, or about a minute will do, depending on your climate. It's starting to cool down where I am, so otherwise I would have just left it for 5 minutes if it was nice and warm in the summer. So now I'm using 400 over the primed areas to get rid of the 240 scratches, and that's the reason the guide coat's on this time. Originally the guide coat was to show the highs and lows when I was blocking it, but now it's to show up the scratches from the 240 when I was blocking it. So just going right over that. Make sure you take all those sanding 240 scratches out, because if there's any left, 240 is going to be too deep, and you'll end up having your colour will shrink back into it. So I've then done the edges, and now I've put 600 grit to go over the blend areas. This is a white colour, so as much as I am doing it in clear over base, I'm not actually going to blend it, because I've done it many times before, and if you clear over an edge of a white colour like this, you'll end up having the colour go worse. It'll turn yellow even if you've got really crystal clears like what we use. So you're better off putting your colour right up over the edge. So now we're going around the edges with a bit of grey Scotch-Brite pad. You could change that for 800 softback sanding sponge has a similar effect. So I've just decided to use the Scotch-Brite on this job. Now we're in the booth, masking it up. on this door edge, I'm doing what we call a false edge here. Flip the leading edge of the tape over, run it across your knee, and then just get it off nice and tight, just to touch in from the door edge. And you'll find that because you've flipped it over, it allows a small amount of the paint just to go up underneath there, and once it's unmasked you won't see any paint edge there. It's the best way I've found to do it. Some of these nice European cars, if you get an edge in there, then you've got to blow them in and paint them again, so you've got to make sure the quality is right. So I've found this is the best way of doing it. Maskings can be quite tricky for people that are new to the trade, but once you get the hang of it, it's quite easy. It's actually one of my favourite jobs in spray painting. You just chill out. It's not that difficult once you know what you're doing, and it's just easy. So as you see, mask up around all these edges, back masking, and that tape we've got there, the blue stuff, lifts up the rubbers around the quarter glass, and this is the front edge of the rear door. I'm putting a bit of paper down there. So when you're masking up, you must always mask the rear door first, because if you don't, then you won't be able to mask the front door properly. So this is what I do personally when I'm doing a door and not a guard. You could do exactly the same method if you were just doing a guard. You just flip that edge just up underneath the door gap, and we'll throw a piece of plastic over it. I prefer to do it this way, and just grab a nice clean razor blade, nice new razor blade, and cut nicely. Careful when you're razor blading around the edges not to push through onto whatever's under it. See how I'm lifting it up a touch? You don't actually push into the paint underneath. I find using the plastic is a lot quicker, and you probably get cleaner jobs too. Some people still do it the old way, and they use just bits of paper first and then they plastic over the top of the paper, but I like to do it this way. It saves a bit of time. And most of these plastics these days have a coated film over one side of them, so you've got to make sure you get it up the right way, and that will actually allow the paint to actually stick to it. If you get them up the wrong way, the paint will start blowing off. I had a guy mask a car up for me one day. He put the plastic upside down. I got halfway through clearing and all the paint just blew off the plastic and into my job. It absolutely ruined it. I had to repaint the whole job, so be careful you get your right tape up the right way. So this is a quick look at the car once it's finished off. Looks quite nice, colour's pretty good, nice finish. Got the nice consistent peel with the Mercedes Benz. No shrink back over the primed area, and it's nice and straight. So here's a couple of links to a couple of other of my demos. So thanks again for watching. This is another Gunman production. Goodbye.